Good afternoon, everybody, or morning. Actually, it's good morning. It's 10:30 here in Oklahoma. So we've got a huge slate of games today. It's a Saturday. Games are starting here in about an hour and a half or so, and the sites have split up their games today. You've got four different slates you can play. You can play an all day, an early, a midday, or a late. So a lot of analysis to go through and things to watch out for, things to target, players I'm going to be targeting, and kind of how I'm going to attack today as far as how I'm going to be playing. I don't try to do everything. I don't try to play all of it. I pick one or two of them of the groupings of games of the slates, and I attack those. I usually play. I'll play a larger amount depending on the games I like and the breakdowns of the matchups and stuff like that. So been up since 5 a.m., kind of rocking and rolling, trying to get last night's sour taste out of my mouth. You can see that I have the Toronto Blue Jays hat on. I lost a bet off of Twitter, and if you're watching this, you know who you are. I'll get you next time. So first game of the day, Texas Rangers are at the Toronto Blue Jays again. We've got Giovanni Gallardo versus Matt Boyd. Boyd's making his season debut today. It looks like he is a minus 148 favorite versus Gallardo, who's a plus 136 dog. That total is 8.5. There's a couple things I like about this game. Obviously, all the Blue Jays bats are in play. Lock and load, Reyes, Donaldson, Batista, Encarnacion again. Encarnacion has absolutely just demolished Gallardo in their career together. So for the Rangers, not too much I like. I'm staying away from Gallo. I'd rather go to Adrian Beltre, who's got the hand in this matchup a little bit better and is $200 cheaper on FanDuel. I like Prince Fielder on FanDuel more than DraftKings because he's only 3.6K on FanDuel and he's 5K on DraftKings. So Sin-Soo Choo, I don't think is in a bad spot either. So other than that, like I said, lock and load the Toronto Blue Jays again and mix and match it. So if you are going to mix and match with all of these guys, make sure you have one of those big three in your with your exposure. So if you're going to do a Reyes Donaldson, Navarro Martin, or a Donaldson Batista, Martin Colabello, or a Colabello Pilar, Travis Donaldson. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go with this lineup. It's stacked from top to bottom, and they are the best offense in baseball when they're in the Rogers Center. So I don't mind that at all. Get creative. Make sure you try to get the lower owned guys. They're going to be high owned today, especially after what they did yesterday. So next game is going to be the Twins at the Brewers. We've got Kyle Gibson, who is a plus 115 underdog right now, going against Matt Garza, who's a minus 124 favorite. That total is 8 in that game. And You've got to, if you're playing the early only slate, you've got to pick one of these pitchers to go with. And there isn't really a lot to choose from. And the reason for that is because the Nationals and Phillies have weather concerns. In GPPs, I'll be rolling out Gio just because he's the highest favorite, in cash games. But I'm waiting to kind of watch that weather to see exactly how it's going to pan out. Right now, it looks like there's between a 75 to 80% chance of storms all the way up until 3-4 o'clock, and it's supposed to get a little bit uglier later on that after or in the evening. So watch the weather and watch the lineups and kind of pay attention and make sure that you don't have somebody in your lineup that you don't need to be in there. So As far as the Twins and Brewers, I don't like Matt Garza at all. I don't mind Kyle Gibson just because I don't think the Brewers are going to go off for 11 runs again or 10 runs in 3 innings. I really, really don't think that that's going to happen. I like Brian Dozier again. I like Rosario. Mauer, he's just a glorified singles hitter, so I kind of stay away from him. I know he's got a couple home runs this year, but you never know when it's going to come. His home run per at bat is the lowest of his career. So I love Trevor Plouffe. He hit a home run last night. Torrey Hunter, he's got some making up to do after I had him in some lineups last night. And Danny Santana is actually, and Danny Santana and Eduardo Escobar, you can't play them both on FanDuel, but they've got multi-positional eligibility over there on DraftKings, and you can kind of flip-flop them, get creative, do a wraparound stack. It's a really, really, really good choice today against Garza, who is a middle, if not average or below average pitcher. So as far as BVP in that game, not a lot to take as far as the sample size. Torrey Hunter's 4 for 10 with a home run off of him. That's really about it as far as what I could take into consideration. So as far as the Brewers side of things, I do like Para. They're all cheap across the industry. It might not be a bad stack to save some money if you're playing the all-day slate to get some Kershaw exposure. I like Adam Lynn. Looks like there's no Ryan Braun today, so be careful of that. But Para, Lucroy, Gomez, Lynn, they're all in play for me. Then you look at Shane Peterson. He's been doing a lot better lately. Scooter Gennett hit a home run last night. So I don't like him, but as a value play, throwing 1 or 2 in a lineup, especially if you're playing the all-day slate, then that wouldn't be a bad idea either. Probably Luke Hoyle will probably be my catcher of choice as far as that, but I like Gerardo Parra as well. So going over to the Washington Nationals versus Philadelphia Phillies, like I said, weather, that is your biggest concern in this as of right now. Like I said, it's 10:30 in the morning in Oklahoma, so we got an hour and a half before lineups lock on FanDuel. If you're playing on DraftKings, you've got some time. But kind of watch for the weather, watch and see what's going on, because you never know what's going to happen and you never know how it's going to work out. So that's a big thing you want to make sure that you're always paying attention to. I like Gio Gonzalez. If we get the clear on weather, then I really like Gio Gonzalez. So Max Scherzer almost threw another perfect game last night. That's 3 in a row. He's carried a perfect game into at least the 6th inning. So he's on fire. It's not his opponents. I'm a firm believer that any day good pitching will beat good hitting. So it's when bad pitching beats bad hitting that we kind of have a problem predicting. So Gio Gonzalez, you can lock and load him as long as we get the weather clear. As far as the lineup today, looks like Adam Morgan is a lefty. Don't know too much about him. You can lock and load Bryce Harper. Anthony Rendon is he's kind of overpriced in my book. I'm not going to pay 3.4K for him. Wilson Ramos, I'd rather have Jonathan Lucroy in a better matchup. But I do like Denard Span as kind of maybe another outfield option. Tyler Moore, as far as a first base punt option on FanDuel, he's min priced. He's 2.2K. I don't mind that at all. If you're going to pivot away from Fielder, Encarnacion, Adam Lynn, or anybody else, then Tyler Moore is not a bad choice. So as far as the Phillies are concerned, it's Maikel Franco. No question. That's it. Anybody else, you're at least in cash games. Anybody else, you're asking for somebody to take your money. So I would not be rostering anybody but Maikel Franco in cash, and you might even think twice about doing that. As far as a GPP play, we say it all the time: capitalize off of chaos and turn chaos into cash. So You can definitely throw a little mini stack of Revere, Cesar Hernandez, Mikel Franco in there. Maybe Galvis, Revere, and Franco, and skip around in that. See what you can work up. I don't mind it because not a lot of people are going to be on him because Gio Gonzalez, especially if you're playing the early only slate, he's going to be the highest owned pitcher of the slate. So of the afternoon right now. So as far as the Kansas City Royals at Oakland Athletics, we've got, looks like Christopher Young, or Chris, well, we know him, Chris Young, Stanford grad. He is going up against Scott Kazmir. Kazmir is a minus 152 favorite with the total of 7.5. Lineups haven't been released for this, but Chris Young, his numbers show that he's due to regress. His xFIP and Sierra are way higher than his ERA is, and just the way that it's looking, he's a lot better at home in Kansas City than he is on the road, although Oakland is another pitcher's park. So that's something that you want to look at. As far as a GPP play, why not? I mean, you've got with everybody that's going to be loading up on a couple of these pitchers that are in the later games, you might get lucky. The problem is that you've got hitters like Sogard, who has been playing better. You got Vaught, you got Zobrist, not JJ Reddick, I'm sorry, Josh Reddick, Ike Davis, Sam Fold. They all hit left-handed pitching very, very, very well. I'm lock and loading vote Zobrist, Reddick, and Butler in a GPP lineup today. So that's something that is going to come with the risk if you end up rostering Chris Young. As far as the Royals against Kazmir, I like Kazmir. I really, really do. Unfortunately, the Royals don't strike out a lot. So I don't like them quite as much as I like other pitchers for cash games. I can't see me paying $9K for them when I can get Gio against the Phillies for 9.2. So at least if I'm playing the all-day slate, which I got a couple lineups out there. So and a couple games out there. So Eric Hosmer, always a punt option, and it sounds so weird to say that because he's so good. He just doesn't get the credit that he deserves, I think. Kendrys Morales is another one who's been hitting very well. Moustakas. I mean, these guys, they scrap and fight. The problem is that you never know where the production is going to come from on any given night. There for a while, we were able to ride Lorenzo Cain. Then it was Alex Gordon. Then it was, Moustakas and Hosmer, and it's just kind of bounced around. I do like Salvador Perez in that spot as a catcher punt option. So 7.5 total over under, kind of sprinkle them into your lineups, but unless it's a GP, I wouldn't be stacking the Royals. Do mix it up. Don't take for the 4 players in a row. Don't take the 2, 3, 4, 5 hitter. Take the 2, 4, 5, 7 hitter. Take the 1, 3, 4, 6 hitter. Kind of split it up like that, because when you're looking at stacks, a lot of people, they just go, okay, I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on DraftKings and let it ride. Mix it up. Go 2, 4, go 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? No, I'm kidding. But seriously, go that route. Go 1, 2, 5, or 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. However you need to do to differentiate yourself from where most people are usually going, then that ends up giving you an advantage if that team goes off. So it's something I do, especially on DraftKings. DraftKings. On FanDuel, I kind of stick to 3. I'll go 3 from one team, 3 from another team, and then 2. Or I'll go 3-2-2-1. Or, as far as players that I put in, I very, very rarely will go one lineup with 4 players from each team in that game, or from 4 players from a team, and just do basically a double stack on FanDuel unless Coors Field is involved. So that's about the only time I do it, and I do it in about 15 different ways sometimes, just to make sure that, and I mix and match the pitchers just to make sure that if that game does go off, I've got a multiple of different pitchers that I can choose from, or that have the ability to go off as well. That way I kind of catapult myself up there. So, and if the whole game's if it's a 15-12 game and everybody's producing, then I just got to hope that I've got a better pitcher than somebody else. So that's kind of how I approach that one. So let's look here. We've got the Braves and the Pirates. Looks like weather's going to be a concern in that one as well. So watch the weather today, guys, with these games going on. We got Julio Teheran versus Charlie Morton. Morton got lit up last time out. He is a 160 favorite with a 7 total. I am not afraid to go back to Morton, especially in cash games. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people are going to be on him or off of him, because he burned a lot of people last time. So we can take advantage of that recency bias, especially in GPPs, and kind of catapult ourselves ahead of that. So not only that, but the Braves lineup isn't anything to be worried about, especially without Freddie Freeman. But if you are going to something like that, you've got top 4 or 5 that I would go with. Other than that, I wouldn't do anything. Not there. There isn't anything I really like in that matchup. As far as the Pirates, I like Neil Walker. His price has dropped. He's 2.5K on FanDuel. So he's going to be under. He's pretty cheap. Pedro Alvarez does hit right-handed pitching very well historically, but this year he's kind of fallen off a little bit. Gregory Polanco is a good one. But I like Starling Marte and Andrew McCutchen, but they're kind of higher priced, and I think that there's players in better matchups. So that's about all for that game. The White Sox, the Tigers. This is a 4:00 Eastern time start, and 9.5 total. We've got weather in this one. It looks like all afternoon. So really, really watch this. And this was a guy I was targeting before I saw the weather. And the reason is because of the gas can known as John Danks. It didn't work out for us yesterday, but I will go back to the well again today. Detroit Tigers against left-handed pitching. Plain and simple. It's not something that I think about when I see a lefty on the mound going against Detroit. I start plugging them in, all of them. So watch the lineup, see how it works. Watch the weather, see how that one really plays out. Kyle Ryan, he's a -150 favorite, and Adam Eaton, man. This guy's on some kind of roll. I think it's like 3 out of the last 4 games he's had a leadoff home run to start the game. I'm not lefty on lefty. If he's starting out, I'm not going to that. The only play I might throw in there is Jose Abreu, and that's just in hopes to get a home run or something. So, other than that, I stay away from the White Sox. They're very, very, very unpredictable right now, and they're not clicking at all on offense. So next game, the New York Yankees versus the Houston Astros. Masahiro Tanaka versus Brett Oberholzer. Tanaka is a minus 120 favorite with 7.5 over under. And here's the deal. Tanaka has been a lot better. He has been very, very well, or pitched very, very well this year, especially considering I thought he was going on the shelf with Tommy John. I will be stacking the Astros again. I will go back to that well because they have the ability. They're that boom or bust, that ultimate GPP. I will stack them in 3 or 4 different ways on FanDuel and on DraftKings, and I will try to get some exposure to the top 6, actually top 7 in that lineup. And I even really honestly don't mind Preston Tucker if he ends up hitting the 8th spot again. If he moves up, then he's good to go. And the reason is because Tanaka's going to be one of the darlings tonight. I think he's going to be lower owned than a couple of the other pitchers that are coming up, but he will definitely be one of the top options of the night. I don't mind Yankees in this one. I think A-Rod's in a good spot. Teixeira is in a good spot. Beltran's in a good spot. Depending on how they roll out their lineup, I don't know if Gardner's going to be in there today, but I do like a couple of their Yankees, so I maybe a Yankees stack or some exposure to them sprinkled in with some other stacks might be a good idea. Going against the lefty and Oberholzer. So the game of the afternoon starts at 4:10 Eastern down in Miami, Florida. Clayton Kershaw versus Tom Kohler and the Miami Marlins. Clayton Kershaw is a minus 230 favorite. A minus 230 favorite. And the reason is Giancarlo Stanton is now out 4 to 6 weeks. He has a broken hand. So from now on until the foreseeable future, lock and load against the Marlins, because the only person that ever scared me as far as tagging me for a home run out of consistency was Giancarlo. So I do like Ozuna. I think he's really he's a good player. I like Jeff Baker against Clayton Kershaw. But only as a GPP play, maybe Christian Yelich, but those are the only two. Or sorry, not Christian Yelich. Chavarria. But those are the only two. And the reason is because Clayton Kershaw in that ballpark is going to dominate, and it's going to be fun to watch. So sure, you can. I can't argue against the stack if you want to try to get there in the GPP, but stay away from it in cash games. So for the Dodgers, Jock Peterson, his price does not drop, and actually I do know why. It's because he came out like a house of cards or a house on fire and absolutely just tore up the league. So you can. I would put him in some spots, but Adrian got a 3K. He's been struggling as of late. I like Justin Turner. Van Slyke won't be in the lineup tonight. I like Ethier in this matchup. Grandal won't be in there. It's going to be AJ Ellis. So Kiki Hernandez might be a good option as well. But other than that, it's just going to be Justin Turner, Jock Peterson, and Adrian Gonzalez. It would be a pump play, and that's him as part of a Dodger stack, and you trying to buy low. So, which never is a good idea when it comes to Adrian Gonzalez. So, Boston Red Sox at Tampa Bay Rays. We've got Wade Miley at plus 110. Versus Matt Andrees at -1, and this total is about a 7.5. Let's see here. I like Joey Butler. I like Logan Forsythe, Steven Souza Jr., um, Evan Longoria, Brandon Geyer. I like all 5 of those. I will be having some exposure because I just have no respect for Wade Miley. I know he's pitched better this year, but I just don't have any respect for him as far as a competent major league pitcher. Let's see here. Looking at the Red Sox lineup, fire up Brock Holt, fire up David Ortiz, Pablo Sandoval. All 3 of those are in play. Looks like I think Alejandro Diazaza actually went deep last night too. He might be in play. He's 2.7, but he'd be part of a Boston Red Sox stack at the bottom of that lineup, maybe with Ortiz, Pablo, and Deaza if the lineup comes out and he's in that spot. So going to the next game of the night, kind of watch your weather in this one. There is some chance of rain. But we go to Gotham City in New York for the Dark Knight Thor, which is crazy because the Mets are now – they need to just name the rest of their starting rotation and call them the Avengers or something. I don't know. But we got Michael Lorenzen for the Reds, who I actually like as a pitcher, but just not right now. I think he's going to be a good pitcher in the major leagues. The guy can hit too. I watched him in college versus Matt Harvey, and Matt Harvey is going to be your second highest owned pitcher of the night, hands down, especially after what Syndergaard did to the Reds last night. With that case, when people zig, I zag, and I'm going to lock up Joey Votto. I think he takes Harvey deep today. Jay Bruce, I think, gets him. I actually think that the Reds are going to win this game. I know Harvey's got the upside. I know he can strike out 15 players or hitters a game. The problem is he has a bad defense behind him. He gets no run support hardly, and he throws a lot of pitches. So he could go 6 innings with 3 runs and 12 Ks, which is odd. He could also go 5 innings with 8 runs, 3 walks, and 8 Ks. So you just never know. He's inconsistent right now, and it's nothing against him. He's one of the darlings, and I can see it, but I also not invincible as well. That's something that I always take into consideration. Next game, we're starting to go into the night slate here. Got 4 more games to do before we wrap it up. Got the Mariners at the Angels. Got J.A. Happ versus Garrett Richards. I actually like Garrett Richards in this one. I've been targeting the Mariners against right-handed pitching all year long. I like Garrett Richards. I don't think that the Mariners are a very good offense, but that in GPPs especially, where everybody's going to be on Harvey, everybody's going to be on Kershaw, everybody's going to be on Tanaka, and everybody's going to be on a couple or one of these other pitchers coming up. I think that it holds some merit to going against the grain to be able to separate yourself. Not only are you separating yourself with the pitcher, yes, they don't have that much upside, but what you are missing the upside, you're gaining in the salary to where you can actually put in some good, some better bats and some better positions. You don't have to quite punt as much and seek as much value in order to fit them in, and it makes it a little bit more simpler putting a lineup together that can go off at any night. So for the Angels, I like Mike Trout, I like Albert Pujols, and I love David Freese. Those are my 3 Angels that I'm going to be targeting tonight, and against J.A. Happ, I don't mind it at all, especially in Anaheim. So Next game on the slate is the Cubs versus the Cardinals. And when these two get together, it becomes a knockout dragout. Cardinals walked off last night in 10 innings, 3-2. And it's something that always happens. Here's the problem with today, though. You got Michael Wacha, who's a minus 160 favorite, going against Don Roche, who is. So I'll do some research throughout the afternoon. If he's a rookie, I'm targeting and I'm going heavy on the Cardinals, and I'm sure a lot of other people are, especially if he's making his major league debut on the road. With that said, though, the Cubs do have a loaded farm system, so maybe not as much exposure, but it depends on what the numbers say. So I like Colton Wong. I like Matt Carpenter. Although Matt has kind of come back down to earth, I really like Johnny Peralta. I'm staying away from Matt Reynolds, but I love Jason Hayward tonight. Jason Hayward will be in a lot of my cash game and GPP lineups tonight. So, especially with the little Cardinals mini stack. As far as the Indians and the Orioles, this is another one of those games you want to pay attention to. Not only does it have an 8.5 total, but there is a major weather concern throughout the rest of the afternoon. We got Chris Tillman, who's a minus 127 favorite, going against Cody Anderson. And for me, Travis Snyder, Chris Parmelee, Chris Davis, Ryan Flaherty, David Lowe, they're all in play. I might mix and match a Manny Machado or with a Jimmy Paredes. I might mix and match, though, Manny Machado with the JJ Hardy in there. But I am definitely targeting this pitcher for the Indians. As far as for the Indians are concerned, let's see here. Francisco Lindor, he's 2.6K now on FanDuel. He's starting to come to that point where I'm going to need to see more for him to start paying his rising salary. Yan Gomes struggled last night, but he won't be in there versus a righty. I don't think. I do like Michael Bourne if he's in there. Brandon Moss, obviously, lock and load him. Jason Kipnis, who's had an unbelievable June. Get him loaded up in your lineups. Just make sure you find some value. So last game of the night, we've got the Diamondbacks versus the Padres. We've got Jeremy Hellickson versus Andrew Cash, third favorite, with a total of 7. Let's see here. I'd have to look at some history, but I think your Ultra BVP special of the night is going to go back, and we are going to pay up for Paul Goldschmidt if we're playing the late slate versus Andrew Cashner. And even with the negative park shift, I still think he gets them. Maybe not for a homer, but he's definitely going to get him for a couple hits and a couple RBIs. So I don't mind Jake Lamb if he's in the lineup. David Peralta, obviously. But you've got to remember they did just come from Coors, so their price tags are inflated a little bit. So I might wait one more game, maybe even through the weekend, to start targeting Diamondbacks again. But as far as the San Diego Padres, I said it a couple nights ago, and I'm going to say it again. Target right-handed pitching versus the San Diego Padres. Jeremy Hellickson, he's a super sneaky GPP play tonight. He doesn't have a high K upside. He's his season high is only 7 strikeouts. But he has been kind of consistent. At 6,500 or 6,300 on FanDuel, if we can get 10 to 12 points out of him and get the win, I'm fine. But that's if Hellickson can get to, or that's if the Diamondbacks bats could get to Cashner. So other than that, I do not like any of the Padres. They struggle against right-handed pitching, and I'm just not going to subject myself to that torture any longer. Hey, Red Bulls and coffee are wearing off. So, guys, as always, if you have any questions, please get a hold of me. Boomer's DFS Daddy on Twitter, or Sheet Sports on Twitter. I appreciate you guys for at least listening to me. I know you guys probably don't want to stare at my ugly face or my wife's beautiful paintings in the background. So that we are talking about making this into just a podcast. That way you can download it and listen to it wherever. You don't have to have the video going. You can kind of multitask, and then just reserving the videos for the tools, the in-depth tools, the lineup analyses and stuff like that. So I will have an in-depth tool coming up later on this afternoon or this evening, kind of after everything calms down. The way I'm going is I'm breaking it up into 3 different slates, and I'll do research on 3 different times. So it's going to be a busy day for me. I'm going to let you guys go and get to watching this while you're setting your lineups. Hope that you guys got some information and shoot me some questions. Follow me on but other than that, we are done. And remember, if you turn chaos into cash, just let me know, and I will absolutely give you a shout out. So this is Keith with Spreadsheet Sports. Good luck, everybody.